See, I told you I wouldn't piss anybody off. I want my best behavior.
He's like,
during the like 5 minutes that Oscar's in there, the three of you are in like a waiting area, like designated for this occasion, right? Where you're waiting for somebody to come out of the holding area. What are the three of you doing while you're standing there?
Fisher's probably pacing backwards and forwards.
Gugu's probably just sitting there completely unworried, reading some lovely what did we determine it was called, the crappy magazines that I read?
I thought we determined
Space Junk,
I think is what it was called,
but I also liked Galaxy
Galactic Inquirer.
Galactic
Inquirer.
Yeah,
Totally.
On our compad, which I assume she's gotten back at this point.
Yeah. You guys all have your items. None of your items were confiscated or needed to be checked.
Yeah, that's what Gugu's doing.
Yeah, Oscar rolls out after a certain fashion.
and as what about Fortune though? Are you at all soaking this in?
I'm probably like leaning against a wall somewhere, just watching people watching, just seeing how people are here.
Yeah, there's a little bit of inflow. Like you're kind of in the central hub area where like you can see all the other space docks, right? And all the other people kind of coming off and going in and all that other fun stuff.
Yeah.
It looks pretty busy here on Eurypylos. It seems to be pretty prosperous as far as the traffic goes. And as Oscar, as you come out and you see the group and they wave you down and you begin walking over, you get about halfway there, Oscar, and all of a sudden throughout the building and throughout, like, you can hear it like going off in other portions of the building or maybe outside, we just hear klaxons go off, and it's just wop, 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 wop. And what do the group of you do, like, initially when that occurs?
I'm nowhere near them, or like not within verbal communication or anything.
Yeah, no, you're close enough to like see them. You could throw something and hit them.
Oh, Oscar just says, "It wasn't me." It wasn't me.
I'm probably just like looking all directions at the same time, trying to figure out what's going on.
I look to Dr. Phil. Be like, "Is this small?"
Yeah.
Dr. Fisher, what do you do?
I mean, between you and me, do I obviously know?
Yeah, you know exactly what this is.
Okay. And am I right to assume it's the thing about this planet?
Yep.
Okay. You can see Dr. Phil looking obviously worried and puts his hands to his laser pistol at his side. And hold.
The other thing about this planet.
Oh, okay.
How many things are there?
Oh my
Why are
god.
there so many things with this planet?
We're leaving right now.
Alright guys, we're out.
We are out.
The traditional rigid portion of this planet. You know what I mean? Are you with me? Where everybody has to do a thing every so often.
You have told me about that, but
yes, I will explain it. So, Dr. Phil relays to you in no uncertain terms that this is the notification that for 10 minutes, all residents of Eurypylos must spend cleaning the areas they are in, whether they be on the public streets, whether they be in the alleyways, whether they be in a kitchen or a diner or a hotel or whatever. But every Eurypylosian, at the sound of these klaxons, and they go off every 2 hours, must spend 10 minutes cleaning the immediate vicinity they are in for sanitary reasons.
Yeah.
And so, like, the question for Dr. Fisher is, how do you react when they go off? Because remember, you spent, 20 years living here?
Yeah. So it's like, oh, is it that time already? Okay, here's the cleaning supplies.
Yeah. Maybe you say that, Dr. Fisher.
Go blank stare.
Yeah.
Does not reach out hand to grab cleaning supplies.
You probably hand me a broom and I'm just like sitting there holding it.
Yeah, so actually what
this?
happens is these people love their technology. From the ceiling descend these mechanical arms that are all holding different cleaning supplies. And identifying each like group of people standing around, it drops like a bucket with like some sanitary wipes and some like glass cleaner, and basically it is specific to whatever area you were in. So you guys probably receive being in this area. There's probably a bucket that drops down like a mop and a broom and like a bucket of soapy water. And mainly I want to know, Dr. Fisher, do you just start doing it because that's so like ingrained in you, or is it something you're able to resist having been off planet for a few years?
No, it's immediately start cleaning, and kind of then for a second look at the others who are just standing there dumbfounded, a bit like, why aren't you cleaning? It's like, this is what you do. Oh, you don't know this.
Oscar says, he looks at Fortune and Gogo and says, am I on crazy pills, or is he... And he looks back at Fisher. What are you doing?
Oh, yes, sorry, I didn't tell you. Well, I said that this planet was very clean in its making. This is how they do it. Every couple of hours, everyone spends their time cleaning whatever area they are in.
What happens if we don't?
Dr. Fisher, you would know foreigners are not expected to adhere to these customs. They're not required to. It may look favorably upon them if they do, but if you don't, it's not so much like a jailable offense or anything like that. It is possible that if you leave something unclean, you may be fined, right? Like, that is a thing that may occur. Like, if you blatantly don't clean something during this time, like something that is obviously dirty, you may be fined and have to go clean it, like, as community service. But also, if, like, you're in your own home, they may not care as much. But it's so ingrained in your, like, nature of these people that rarely, if ever, does that happen.
Okay. Fisher, may we leave when this place is clean?
Oh, of course. It's only for a few minutes, and then we go about our day.
Oscar, like, straight up Fantasia style, like, telekinetically takes the mop and, like, starts going nuts.
Totally. Yeah, and you can see that, like, around, like, in this central hub area, now that you guys are, like, out in, like, the masses, basically, where, like, all the benches and stuff are. Like, it's typical. Imagine it like a train station, right? Where, like, there's a bunch of benches in the middle and, like, some terminals and stuff, and there's, like, some information desks, and you can see all the Yuri Pelusians. They are all, like, doing the thing. Like, you can see the information lady, she's wiping down the counter, like, maybe singing a song, or, like, whistling to herself, or, like, there's probably like, one of the security guys, probably, has a broom, and is, like, sweeping, and maybe he's, like, doing a little jig with it, and, like, it becomes obvious that everybody kind of has their habit, right? Like, if this is where these people work, they do this 5 times a day, right? At least.
Yeah, he just stands there, like, with his arms crossed, and he does about as many separate things as he can manage.
Yeah.
Like, maybe he's got like little sanitary wipes going over the, whatever surfaces are there, and he's got a mop going. And...
Yeah, and, like,
Fortune has been aimlessly sweeping since you guys started asking Fisher what's going on.
Just to, like, blend in.
Yeah, I see everyone else is cleaning, so I'm just, like, not sweeping anything in particular. And
yeah, just literally the same spot on the floor, like.
No, I probably like sweep one spot and then I like walk 3 feet and sweep another spot. So it's not doing anything, but it looks like I'm doing something.
Right. Yeah. Totally. Yeah, and you can see there are a lot of other foreigners who are probably like, "What the fuck is going on right now?" Right? Like just smattered throughout this like large hub of humanity, and sure enough, 10 minutes passes, and here's the best part about it is the place looks seemingly no cleaner than when you walked in, because it was so very, very sterile before, right? And so it's one of those things where it's like, I don't know why we did that, because it was already like so clean it hurt. And at the end of the 10 minutes, those mechanical arms drop down again from the ceiling and begin collecting up all the supplies and picking up all the trash and bringing it all out, and they retract back up into the ceiling, and every business goes about as normal.
Nice.
That was something.
Ah, yes. Don't worry too much about it. It's just how this planet does things. Now, shall we be off?
Much more pleasant than Pafosian customs.
Gilbert gives you the stare when you say that.
Fortune just unconsciously starts rubbing his neck.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like tugs on his collar a little bit.
Yeah.
His shirt collar.
Yeah, pops his collar so it like his neck isn't exposed anymore.
Yeah. Onward.
Yeah, totally. So, Dr. Fisher, where do you give them the tour? You could take a speed train to your hometown fairly easily. Again, these people love tech, and there's a train that literally runs like the equatorial line, right? Like it's probably called the equatorial line as the name of the train, right? And it runs and can probably circumnavigate the planet in a matter of hours. So getting to where you need to go would not be difficult on the planet. Again, these people love tech. So where do you take them?
Probably to start with, of course, this is one of the bigger hub cities. We'll walk around sort of the high street.
Yeah, you're probably in the capital. If this is where the medical supplies got delivered. Yeah, you're probably in the capital.
So yeah, for certainly a few hours, we'll walk around here at all the touristy places and some shops that people may want to go to.
Yeah. So, what attractions exist on Eurypylos, Will? What attractions that tourists might want to attend exist here?
Well, of course, there's the cleaning until sterile 101 course.
Right. Yeah. Clean until it hurts. Yep.
Ass.
Yeah, there's also a lot of your usual kind of things. With it being the capital, they're obviously used to other foreigners kind of coming here. So yeah, it's more a question of what isn't here in this capital.
Yeah, no, it is a TL4 planet, and probably all of you know this, but if anyone is going to break into TL5 first, Eurypylos is at the top of that list when it comes to technology. This is a extremely technologically advanced planet. The only thing probably holding it back is that it has no original TL5 like archives or anything like that. So, for example, the reason why Paphos has those super awesome like tech suits, that's their specialty, is because they probably found at some point during the silence or some point after it, they found like a factory or like a schematic or something that they're able to make things with. Eurypylos started from the ground and is building up that way, and if anyone were to naturally find it first, it would probably be Eurypylos. If not, maybe the Tan. The Tan are also a very technologically advanced race. So between those two, it's probably pretty close. So comforts and amenities here are abundant.
We like both of those things.
Yes. Indeed. So also, because this is the planet of Cockney, it is a somewhat traditional monarchy. As far as the rule, there's a ruling class, is what they call it, right? Where there's like, it's not quite the families like Raimondi has. It's a single family that holds a lot of power, but is also checks and balances with things like, for example, a parliament and that kind of thing. And they have their own, obviously, like, own problems and other things, but it runs very much kind of like Britain of today would, as far as, like, the political side of things here.
Yeah. Well, that's probably bad if we talk about current.
Listen, we can't even talk, so I mean.
Yeah, it's not exactly like things are going great over here.
Not exactly fucking sugar and candies over here.
No shit.
Anyway.
Yes, what would people like to see?
Yeah, that's the question. Knowing that there are amenities abound, and as I described before, the tech is really, really high here, especially when it comes to tech med, right? Like, tech med is the... If it would have a TL5 specialty, tech med is probably going to be it. It is on the bleeding edge of development in that regard.
He says, Fisher, do people on Eurypylos value cybernetics?
So I think you weren't here when I said it, but it is common for people to have cybernetics on this planet, where it is extremely uncommon in other places.
Jordan, I'm not asking this. Oscar is asking.
Okay.
Okay. So, maybe he would have a better idea that yes, they were, but he's just like trying to get Fisher talking.
Yes, with our advancement in medical tech, we have some of the most efficient cybernetic implants. So yes.
So, you wouldn't you wouldn't sway me against getting something installed here then?
No, of course not. Of course, finding some of the most ruthless implants may be a little difficult to find, but definitely we can find you something.
I like how he called him ruthless.
Just window shopping. No need to go searching right now.
I'd probably poke my head into it. That doesn't sound bad. I like window shopping.
I think you just see Gogo holding up her arm. She's just kind of like looking at it, and you know how she turn it over as if she's wearing a ring or something on her hand, and she's just kind of like,
you just waggle your fingers.
An upgrade might be due.
Yes, indeed, because I think we determined you basically just have a prosthetic limb, right? Like,
correct.
Like
it is
a
the basic
of
basic.
Yeah.
Correct. It was all Gogo could afford at the time.
and that's even probably questionable, because who knows how you actually paid for that.
Yeah. Oscar, when Gogo does that, he says, "Oh, I worked with a guy who had blades implanted in his. Could be very useful."
Ow, fuck it. Sorry.
How did you know what I was thinking?
Did you... No, I'm serious. Like, did you not just say verbally that there might be... Was that internal monologue, or am I going
No,
crazy?
no, that was literally what I said. But I mean, you saying the claws specifically was
sorry.
a thing that I was interested in. Come on, Matt.
Sorry, I just wanted to be clear. It says, I suppose I've grown to know you better than I realized in our time together, Kogo.
She kind of like punches you on the shoulder. She's like, and then she turns to Dr. Phil and she's like, so, where could one get one of these?
Yes, let's go to one of the better supplies. It's just up the high street here.
Yeah. And again, to remind you, he did say some of the more ruthless ones might be harder to find. This
Certainly.
is a planet about healing and other things, but we may or may not figure that out.
A scalpel is all in how you use it.
Hey,
Any tool
True.
is...
True. Yes. Buddy.
Oh, never mind. Disregard, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, disregard. I figured out your system here.
Yes. The legend is in the bottom.
Yeah, I see that. Thank you.
Yes. We're on it now. Yeah, totally. So you can, there's certainly windows to shop from, when it comes to prosthetics. A lot of things involving prosthetics are, like quality of life things, mostly. Probably
this
cybernetic.
One comes with a toothpick and
Yeah, quality of life things, or like things to make someone more efficient. Like for example, a lot of surgeons actually will invest in really accurate and steady cybernetic hands or arms, so that there can be no human error, basically, right? Like they still control it and control what it does, but there's a lot less human error.
I don't know anybody who could benefit from that.
Right. There is a lot of like, there's a lot of probably sensory cybernetics that perhaps will allow you to like ignore cold or that kind of stuff. They don't do anything like physically, like your body will still feel the effects, but your brain basically will be blocked from receiving that input. And these can be temporary or they can be permanent. It's all kind of up to how it works. Also, I notice a lot of people are looking at the cyberware sheet. Things that are not listed are totally possible as well. Totally. If you have like a good idea that doesn't fit with anything that is currently here, it's probably possible. Another really, really, really common one here is integral comlinks. Most people who have a cybernetic arm has an integral comlink in it. If not like attached, if not like just that attached, right? But yeah, no, totally. There's a lot of stuff that can be advantageous here.
Well, out of character.
Mm-hmm.
Surely, on this advanced a planet, I can find myself a telekinetic generator. Since it is not even, like, I think it's like TL3?
A telekinetic generator.
Where is it? It's TL4.
So, Will,
Mm-hmm.
how does your society view psychics?
It isn't the best, to say the least. So finding such gear will probably not be easy.
Okay.
I made him say it so you wouldn't call me the bad guy.
No, that's fine.
You may be able to find something in kind of the back streets and sort of underground kind of shops. But
so if they're having something like some conversation along those lines, he would say, "No, back street generator doesn't sound great. I want something reliable. I will just continue to be patient."
Yes. Plus, actually getting it off planet would be a completely different trial in of itself.
I see. Well then.
Yeah, another very common one is the personal augmentation tech is very common here. To, make women more beautiful, or make men more handsome or attractive, to make men slightly stronger or look at least a certain way. Image and hygiene are very, very important on Eurypylos for obvious reasons. But most of the personal augmentation tech is either very minor when it comes to vanity stuff, or it is for efficiency purposes. Like I said, getting personal augmentation technologies installed in a prosthetic limb, for example, makes it a little more steady, a little more sure of less failure. Or, for example, covering up a prosthetic limb, for example, is part of that personal augmentation tech, right? Putting some skin or a realistic looking flesh over top of it is kind of where that falls a lot. And so perhaps you realize, and Dr. Fisher, you would know this, there are a lot of people walking around on Eurypylos who have cybernetics, but you may not know at a glance. It may remain a bit hidden until the subtle movements of the subtle mechanical movements of the prosthetic limb, or maybe a sound, right? Maybe a creaking of a joint or something, is generally one of the giveaways. Cool.
Yeah. What I want's really expensive, so I won't be doing that today.
They are very expensive.
I was looking back at prices, and yeah.
I mean, there are a few cheaper ones. Certainly, the integral low status monitor.
Well, I was looking for something like Twitch lock actuators, but
yeah, that's more than ship parts.
Yeah. So, I'll
but
just...
That also includes
be
labor, mostly.
shopping.
That also includes labor as well, right? You have to pay a doctor to go
perform
this
procedure.
We have a doctor.
So if we forced Fisher at penalty of expulsion from the crew to install it.
At penalty of killing you, perhaps, yes.
Yeah.
So, I slipped. Sorry.
You're not dead.
I tried my best, but you're still dead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, I saw what that blue stuff can do. I'm not going to take that as an excuse.
It's true. The blue stuff would save you in a lot of situations. Yes. All
right. Well, it kind of sounds like this is Gogo's deal then, since none of the rest of us can afford it.
3 or 4 things that I want to do.
Okay.
Wow.
All right.
Take it away.
So Gogo, the boys are window shopping, and you're legitimately getting specs.
I'm legitimately pricing things out in my head.
Yeah, yeah. You're getting specs on certain things, and
Fortune and I just
asking follow-up questions and such.
Fortune and Oscar just have their faces pressed up against the glass, looking at Twitch lock actuators.
Yeah, there's probably a
probably
demonstration,
both just
right?
Man, that would be nice.
Fortune, did you see that adrenal suppression pump?
Yeah.
The Twitch actuators, did you see the pistons inside? They're so quick. It just happened so fast.
It's so beautiful.
Yep,
I can't believe it.
Totally. So, Gogo, what are we shopping for today?
Well, you said that some that can be used as weapons, i.e.
Yeah, cyberclaws might be
stuff
looked...
that you could get here unless it's underground, correct?
Well, not necessarily. Like, so there is a place for it, right? Like, Yuri Pylos would do weaponized stuff, like, in certain circumstances. Like, they're not just gonna let every mercenary hobunk person come in.
Yeah.
But, like, sure. They obviously have a need to do that kind of stuff. So what that means for you mechanically is you might have to convince somebody to install it. You know what I mean? Like, they can do it, and they will do it, but you may have to push them a little bit to get them to, like, you know, actually, because they gotta document all this shit, right? Like, they gotta be like, I installed X on X person, and then it's their liability if you go kill somebody with that.
Sure, yeah.
So I mean, that's kind of where the line is drawn.
Girl's gotta have some self-defense, right? Tiny little girl like me.
You could pull that card. It's a good thing you're not carrying your rocket launcher. They certainly wouldn't believe you.
I just look so prim and proper, too. Okay, so Cyberclass, Comlink.
Yep.
Is another one I'm looking for. And then also, and I don't know what this falls under. This might just be like, what was that? Just personal augment technology.
Yeah.
Just something to make, like, just like an upgrade on the current prosthetic I have, just to make it, like, less clunky and just to make it not like something that's going to, like, necessarily have some sort of, like, the actuators to make it faster or anything like that, but just make it less shitty.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that is exactly the personal augmentation technology, because because the thing is, and it's happened before, right, where, like, somebody looks at your cybernetics and they're like, where the fuck did you get that piece of
they look so broke down,
right? And, they could make it look like a true Yuri Pylosian prosthetic limb for, like, the price of a single, like, personal augmentation tech purchase.
Yeah. And I still want it to look tech. I don't want to cover it up.
Right, you don't want to cover it up. You just want it
but
to
I just want it to look nice.
Yeah, change the parts out a little bit just to make it so that, like, they're
add some chrome, you know?
Yeah, totally.
Do the maintenance you've been neglecting for the past 3 years.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and just to make it, like you said, more steady, more, you know, actual.
Yeah, it will act way more like a real arm instead
of real. Kind of I just want it to be like movement. Exactly. Yeah,
totally.
Just like a real arm.
Yep.
Like a real
arm. Absolutely.
Okay, and then this also might be kind of a thing that not necessarily just the up and up crew would be able to do, but I would like to update one of my tattoos as well to make it a phosphor tattoo.
Yeah, totally. Awesome, phosphor tattoo. Let me read that one again.
Yeah, I saw it. I didn't read it though.
Yeah, totally.
It's actually pretty.
It's actually pretty fucking sick. No, I think phosphor tattoos fall directly under quality of life here.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because they're so about how they
need
look
to be
and
efficient.
Everything.
Like, if I can use both hands and clean in the middle of the night, yeah, absolutely. This seems great.
Because they also shed light and such. So.
Yep. Yeah, and
Sick.
I mean, like, we didn't mention this, but every 2 hours means every 2 hours.
Nope. Okay, we need to leave now.
Yep. Every 2 hours means exactly that. Not every 2 hours of daylight. Every 2 hours.
This planet just lost a lot of respect from Fortune.
Now you guys know why Fisher never sleeps.
I thought it was just because we were overtasking him.
He's literally on the Iron Man. He's literally he was born into the Iron Man schedule.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, totally. Cool. I think that the only thing that is going to raise eyebrows and require some type of persuasion here is going to be the Cyberclaws, because, like,
sure,
yeah, that's the only thing. Everything else is totally fine. And so, Dr. Fisher, do you know anybody that does this?
I do.
You do? Cool. What's his name? Or her name? Or its name, because it could totally be an armature as well.
Her name is Sarah.
Sarah. Okay.
We did our basic medical training together on Euripylos.
What's her last name?
Sarah MacGyver.
Cool. Yep. Sarah MacGyver. All right. Trained with Phil. Okay. Cool. What's your relationship like with Sarah MacGyver? Was it like childhood friends? Was it perhaps like a burning love interest that never took off? Was it more like a mentor-student kind of thing? What was it like?
We were close friends when we were at school together. Maybe stayed in touch every now and then.
Okay. Close friends. Stay in touch occasionally. All right. What you should do, Will, is you should write that on the Euripylos sheet so that you remember. And so that everybody else remembers, because they're all going to meet her now. And so if you end up biting it, they can go back to her and talk to her and use her as a contact in the future.
And be like, hey, yo, bitch.
Cool. So Sarah MacGyver, she's probably kind of your typical proper Euripylosian. She didn't fly the nest like you did. Right? She remained and studied her craft. I would say if she's a classmate of yours, she's not the top of her game, right? Like, there are very clearly other people who have been doing it for years that are better, but she's probably done enough now to, like, make a decent name for herself and, like, be maybe in, like, the mid-range. Like, if you're like, I need it done kind of quickly, or, I don't want to wait for an appointment, because that's the thing with the cybernetic installers. Sometimes there can be like months wait, right? So if you really need it, like now, you might go to a lesser known cybernetic installer to get it much quicker, which is kind of what you guys need, right? You guys need somebody to do it
quickly. Yes.
Yeah. Like now. So, where does Sarah live? Does she stay in the capital, or is she like back in your hometown, or is she in a different place? Like, did she move far away from the university? What's going on with her?
Yeah, most work obviously happens in the capital, so she's probably got a house nearby here.
So you want to look her up and go maybe ring in on her business?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, totally. So you have like an email address. You probably don't have her direct comlink, right? Probably only because it's changed in the couple of years that you were gone, right? So do you like shoot her a quick video message or whatever and say, hey, you Spoogle plus her?
Yes, indeed. It's hey, I'm on Euripylos. How you been?
Yeah, so the message probably like picks up, and she's like, Philip, is that you?
Hi, it is indeed you. How you been?
Oh, you old cod. We should grab a pint.
Hi, yes. Just finished business, giving flies to your capital. Yeah, that'd be good.
Business, you old pit. No. I know you don't work.
Hey, hard times called for hard measures.
Aye, yeah. Meet me down by my office. It's right here. And she sends you the like coordinates to her office.
Aye, we'll be just to do that. Could introduce you to some of my new colleagues as well.
Yeah, and you see her eyes narrow behind like her glasses, and she's probably a redhead, right? She's got freckles in the glasses, and is kind of pulled back in a kind of a neat ponytail, and she's wearing like a lab coat, and she kind of like squints, and she's like, "You ain't got yourself a frill, do you?"
I know, no, don't worry. It's purely business at the moment.
Yeah, and she's like, that's good, love, because I'd have to meet her first.
I wouldn't let anybody have a way with me without consulting you first.
And she's like, yeah, and to taking me on. And she like she flexes and like kisses her bicep. She's a pretty built woman. She clearly works on it.
You have to be in shape to lift all of the cybernetics.
It's true. Cool, yeah, so the video call hangs up. She's like, cheers! And the video call hangs up, and you're like, okay, let's go.
As they're going, Oscar to you, Fisher, says, something occurred to me as you were discussing cybernetics. In surgery, are proton cutters commonplace here?
There is usually one on standby should the need arise.
It's like, I'm sure you understand what I'm getting at, but perhaps it would be worth looking into.
An interesting idea.
I know you love to tinker.
You see the gleam in Fisher's eyes. Yes, that I do. Perhaps we shall make a new research project of it.
Maybe before we leave, we can look for some raw materials, so to speak.
Yeah, totally. Like, I think it would probably be more common in like the major facilities.
Yeah.
Sarah probably doesn't have one, but like there might be like a cutting edge medical facility in the capital somewhere that might have one, right?
I mean, I have to ask Fisher this technically, but Jordan, you're the one who has to decide whether this is a thing that I could find.
He answered fairly appropriately. You certainly would not be able to like buy one, right? Like that may not be a thing that you are allowed to do, but certainly you could go like there may be one at like the university, right? There's probably one at the university for testing, and there's probably one at maybe 2 or 3 at maybe like the major hospitals, right? Or like the major like corporation facilities to do work with, and maybe some smaller, less efficient versions smattered throughout, but I don't think Sarah would have one. Probably she does minor stuff. When we're talking like, body replacements, that's when stuff like that becomes a little bit more necessary.
So, are you saying it's unlikely there's anything I would be able to get my hands on while we're here?
It is unlikely, yes. I mean, like, so the thing is you could go through a process to try and acquire the stuff to do one, right? Like, you could go through, like, because it probably takes a bit of red tape to get your hands on, like, that type of material or technology.
Sure. Maybe, would this be a situation where, like, Oscar and Fisher could combine efforts to see who they can come up with while they're out here?
Yeah, like there's probably...
Like maybe he has a contact who's a surgeon who has like a medical instrument, one that's currently being used as a medical instrument or is like along those lines.
Yeah, that might require a roll to see if he knows anybody like maybe at the university, right? That could like have access to that one.
557. Let's go. Get that.
Yeah, roll me if you want, Fisher, to see if you know somebody that could let you at least get your hands on a working functional one.
If you please, I won't twist your arm, but
you could certainly make a culture Eurypylos roll if you wanted to. With intelligence, yes. Convincing him would be a different roll.
Ooh.
Yeah, nice, double sixes.
Yeah, there was someone I knew.
In fact, you're probably good friends with the professor, with a double 6. Maybe the
that is a
professor
pretty
likes
good
you.
roll. Yeah, good lord.
Maybe the professor likes you, and like maybe you've kept in touch throughout like the couple of years.
Maybe you were like his ace student, and it was like, oh my god, like you're his Dana Scully, and you moved on to other things, and he never forgave you for giving up the craft.
I think that it's more than likely he was the kind of like struggling kid the professor took interest in.
Thanks.
I mean,
come on, I'm trying to build Fisher up here.
I'm only saying this because the field that Fisher went into would not have been what he went into if he were the ace student, probably. That's the only reason I say it. You totally could be the ace student if you wanted to be.
Yeah, I was probably... hey, Professor, how are we doing? Yeah, right. Just missed getting the A on that test.
Yeah. Also, if this is like the medical doctor, Dr. Fisher does not specialize in medical practice, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's probably a bit of a struggle for him. But yeah, you know him, and he you know the last time you spoke with him, he still works here at the university, which is in the capital. But first, let's go to Sarah's place, and then we will see about this proton cutter that Matt wants so badly.
It's pretty badly. You're not wrong.
So you arrive at it probably says Sarah MacGyver MD on the door, right? It's like your typical kind of office building glass door where it's got like the letters. It's probably like hollow letters though that are like projected through the glass, and it says Sarah MacGyver MD, and then it like flashes like another message like walk-ins welcome, right? And you enter in, and there's a woman sitting at the like the receptionist desks. And she's probably a bit heavyset, darker complexion, and she looks at you and she says, "Oh yes, come in, take a seat."
I thank you. Sit down.
What can we do for you today?
I'm here to see Sarah. I'm Dr. Philip Fisher.
Ah, yes. She said she would be arriving. Hold one moment, please. I will page her. So like, there's that moment of like you're sitting in the lobby for like a few minutes, right? And there's kind of like the weird kind of silence that occurs in doctors' offices. You guys ever notice that? Like when you're in a doctor's office, there's just like there's this weird like silence that kind of descends upon everybody there. You don't really know where it came from. And after a few minutes of you guys kind of like lounging around, like maybe kicking your feet or something.
I'm probably perusing the desk of magazines.
Yeah, it's probably a bunch of like hollow zines, right? Where like you just hold it up and then you can just turn the pages. Like they're like basically Kindles, right?
I find the Galactic Inquirer and I toss it to
yeah
to Gogo.
Yeah, Gogo. It's actually probably a newer edition than what you received.
Yeah, her eyes lit up and she's like, "Oh, I haven't read this one yet," and then she immediately just starts.
Yeah, totally. And then after a few moments of this ongoing process, Dr. Ryder comes out, and she's a tall woman, broad-shouldered, probably around just shy of 6 feet, maybe. And she comes out and she's wearing her glasses and her lab coat, and you can see that she's got like a clipboard tucked into, or like I should say a compad. I always call it clipboard, but there's like a compad like tucked into the like the big pocket on the side. And she goes, "Fisher, you old wanker, and she comes running up to embrace you.
I happily embrace.
Yeah, and as you get closer, she just punches you in the solar plexus, just like a tap.
But even for Fisher, that's a full blown.
Yeah, and she picks you up and like wraps your arm tight against your body and like manhandle picks you up and spins you around, and so you've lost all of your breath and now you also can't breathe.
Oscar leans over to Fortune and just says quietly, like, I like her. She's a good.
Oh God, Matt! Now you're gonna get her killed.
Yeah, and she spins you around and like sets you down, and you're like coughing and like trying to catch your breath. She's like, I see you still haven't beat that case of the being out of breath. You really must work out more, Phil.
Maybe you should work out a little less, Sarah. Some things never change, do they?
Yeah, and she gives you like a big shit-eating grin, and she kind of looks over the group of you, like one by one, taking you in turn. And her eyes fall on Fortune, and she kind of like there's like a momentary like, oh, that's weird. Her eyes fall on Oscar, and her eyes kind of like her eyebrows kind of rise a little bit, like, oh hey, look, I'm a medical doctor. I know what aliens look like. And then her eyes fall on Gogo, and her eyes kind of narrow a little bit, and she's like. She leans down and she says, I thought you were taking the frills off, Phil.
I just don't worry. I asked them to get cleaned up, and this is better than the original result.
Yeah, and she kind of nods and she's like, well, nothing to be done about it, I guess. This surely this can't just be a, hey, I'm dropping in. You've never done that before.
Oh, come now. Do I always need a reason to visit you?
You receive a fresh bruise on your arm.
Yes. If we are being frank,
I'm not Frank, I'm Sarah. She gives you a big shit-eating grin again.
We were sort of interested in some new chromeware.
Yeah, and I think that immediately her eyes turn to Gogo, right? Because Gogo's the only one with like visible cybernetics, and she knows you don't have any.
Yeah, and I think Gogo kind of just looks up at her like incredibly unassuming. And she just says, yes, I'm afraid we're here because of me.
Oh, God. Oh, God, oh, God, oh, God.
Oscar just goes out. Like, if there's a window, he goes and stares at it.
Yeah, I think she smiles unfalteringly, and she says, well, you got Phil over here to at least come visit me once in a while. Can't say it's all bad. Come, dearie, let's go see what we can get hooked up for you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, she goes back to the door and probably opens it up. And Gogo, you walk in through like the doctor's office door. Phil, do you try and follow, I assume?
Yeah.
Yeah. She actually holds her hand up in front of you and shakes her head and closes the door, and you hear it lock, like as the doctor's office's doors lock from the outside, right? And that's a great place to take our break.
Yay! I thought we weren't trying to piss people off.
Thanks, Gogo.
Listen.
Let's be back at 15 after the hour.
All right.